and welcome back to the channel. We've had a couple of stickers arrive this week, so we'll get those stuck up on the board. And while we're on the subject of stickers, my subscriber count is fast approaching 2,000, which is, unbelievable. I can't believe there's that many people want to watch what I do. But it's really enjoyable, and the YouTube community, there's a lot of people out there with a huge amount of skill, and if you've ever got a problem, those people are always willing to help. I've made friends across the world, I've picked their brains, and we often sort of swap emails. But anyway, we'll get those stickers up on the board, and then we'll have a look at some other items and some other projects which I've been doing. The Kerzel engine is now complete, and I've got that mounted onto a wooden base, so we'll have a look at that. We'll get the Kerzel started up and running, and then we'll have a look at some other bits and pieces which I've been up to. Well, the first sticker is from Cam. He's over in Australia, and his channel name is Cam at Battler. He's worked on several different projects, and not so long ago he done a lathe slotting attachment, which was really interesting and a good series to follow. So anyway, so thanks for that, Cam. And he's now looking at doing some more foundry work. He done that in a previous life, and really enjoyable. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that's something I like to get into. So thanks for your sticker, Cam. So the next sticker is Mark Pressling. He's also in Australia, and a really interesting channel, varied items and projects he works on. And one of the things what he done, I can't remember, about a year or a couple of years ago maybe now, was anodising aluminium and anodising in different colours. And that's something I learned, and I learned that from Mark's channel, and since then I've been anodising my own aluminium bits and pieces. So thanks, Mark, and your sticker's on the board. As some of you have probably seen on my Instagram, the engine is now all finished and all mounted up. The only thing I've got left to do now is still try and get these spring adjustments right for the flywheels for the governor. I'm not having a lot of luck with those at the moment, but I'll keep persevering with them until I get the engine to run, really sweet. What else is there? So the fuel tank is all mounted, and then we've got a line coming in. This is supposed to be a petrol-proof line, but it's not. It's okay. It's a silicone tube of some description, but I don't know what it is. It was all fine when I first put it on, but as soon as I started putting petrol through it, it just went really soft, and it kept collapsing, and restricting the engine from running, because once it collapsed, obviously the fuel couldn't get through. So I've just got a couple of springs on there at the moment to keep this sort of radius here not so tight. But anyway, so I've got to look for a new piece of tube for that. But as I say, the engine's all finished. Some people have taken some interest in the plaques and how I've made those, the engine name plaque and also the ignition plaque. So I think I'll show you how I've done those on the, I used the laser engraving process to produce them. So I'll just explain about how that worked. But first of all, we'll get the engine running, and we'll just, I'll leave it running, and then you can just have a look at it. well, the engine's had a bit of running now, and it's starting to bed in, and a lot easier. The parts aren't so tight. So I've been running it on petrol. I think it was a lot more aggressive on the petrol, and it would run a lot better. But now it's run in. I've now started to use some stuff called Shellite, which is like Coleman's camping fuel. And I couldn't get it to run on this before. It would cough and splutter and just wouldn't, run smoothly. And I think literally petrol just had it was more of an aggressive explosion in the chamber rather than this sort of stuff. So, but now that it's running and everything's starting to loosen up, it's running on this fine. So anyway, so I can source that locally rather than the Coleman's fuel, which I'd have to order in. So someone else put me onto that. That was one of the comments what I read from a previous video. And so thanks for that. I can't remember the guy's name, but thanks for putting me onto that. He was a guy here in New Zealand, and it's been running his engines on the same sort of stuff. So yeah, once again, thanks a lot. The two plaques on the engine, I originally was going to, do those in an acid etching bath, but I thought, well, that means buying more equipment. I've got to try and locate the right type of acid, which is getting harder these days to, get acids couriered to you. So I thought I'll have a look online and try and come up with some other idea. So I see that a lot of people were laser engraving anodized aluminium. This particular piece has got a 12 micron anodizing coating on it, and once I'd got the laser dialed in, I was then starting to get some reasonable results. This one here is probably the best result I achieved. So with doing the laser engraving, it's not just a 5-minute job. You've got so many different variables. You've got the height of the laser from the work material. You've got the feed rates, you've got the speed at which you laser engrave at, and when you get back to here, you can see here that this first one here, the laser was out of focus, so it was leaving a blurred effect. And we go across to here, you can see where there's too minimal power on the laser itself. But anyway, in the end, this seemed to be the best I could achieve in anodized material. So I still wasn't really that happy with the finish on that, so I decided to have a look at some powder coated material, and the powder coating on here is a 60 micron powder coat, and you can see it's got that bit of a shine to it, and this was about the best one I could achieve, and it actually came out really well. So if I now put the anodized one and the powder coated one together, you can see there that the powder coated one has just got that better look to it. So that's what I decided to go with in the end. Anyway, we'll set the laser up and I'll show you one of these actually being laser engraved. So we've got our piece of material clamped down, and we'll just move the laser head into position. And the first thing we need to do is to what we've got here, if I turn it around the right way, this is a focusing tool which I've come up with to allow me to focus for various materials what I normally engrave onto. So the middle one here is the exact pinpoint of where the laser is focused to its smallest dot. So that is where it's really in focus, and then we go out of focus as we +1 each side. So depending on the material what we laser engrave is how we focus the laser. So on the powder coat, the best I could find was just to use the top focus setting. So we'll just pull that down onto there, and we're now ready to engrave. Right, so we'll just locate the file. So here's the file what we're attempting to engrave, and this is just obviously drawn in a CAD software, and then I've pulled it into the laser CAD, which is what controls the laser. So we'll now set this up if we go to the settings, we've got it set to engrave. We've got a speed of 300, and then the power rating for the laser tube itself is 27%. Then we've got a scan gap, which is 0.04. So the scan gap is the gap between each laser's stroke. So if we want to have more detail, we can reduce that scan gap. It all depends really on the material, what you're engraving, and also, you know, the speed at what you're running the laser, because if you run the laser slower, you'll get a wider spread of burn. You know, there's all different things come into it. Anyway, I know that for this particular item, this is the settings what we're going to be using. So we'll just download that to the laser, and the laser is now ready to engrave that onto the piece of aluminium. So that's the engraving process now finished. So we'll take this out and we'll have a look. So this is what it now looks like. Obviously you can see all the dust over there, which is through the engraving process. We'll take it back to the bench and we'll clean that off, and then we'll have a look at the end result. And here you can see the finished result. So nice and clean, nice and crisp, and it's got that bit of a shine to it, which is what, you know, when we compare it against the anodized, like I was saying, this was quite a dull finish, just a matte finish, but having that bit of shine on there definitely makes it more appealing. So yeah, so that's how I done the plaques for the engine. Anyway, obviously then just cut these out and just file them to shape. So yeah, so really happy how they turned out. And we'll have a look at the ones on the engine, so that one and the ignition one as well. So yeah, so that's something I've got for the future. You know, obviously whatever engines I do in the future, I'm going to be able to do those plaques. You know, obviously the powder coating material, powder coat comes in different colours, so you know, if I want to change it to a different colour to match, you know, like the next engine or whatever, if the engine's got a painted scheme, I can match those tags or plaques to that painted scheme. So yeah. Well, that's it on this week's video. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Cam and Mark for sending their stickers through. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.